So my name is Cheryl Streifel and I'm a Triple P accredited practitioner. There's 5 key principles to positive parenting, and they include creating a safe, interesting environment, creating a positive learning environment for your children, using assertive discipline, having realistic expectations, and taking care of yourself. So the first one, create a safe, interesting environment for your children, involves several things. A few of them include supervising your children. This just means knowing where your children are at all times, what they're doing, and who they're with. If you can do this when your children are young, it becomes a normal thing to talk about as they move into the adolescent years, and you say, where are you going? What you going to do? Who are you going to be with? Safety is really important, so when your children are riding wheeled bikes, toys, trikes, you need to think about things like helmets. If they've got skates, you need to think about things like knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards. So always provide appropriate safety equipment, and please, parents, use it yourself. So positive learning environment can include things like just speaking nicely with your children. So be really aware of your tone of voice, making some eye contact, and just speaking nicely with your children. It's also about spending time with your kids, and this involves spending time with your kids doing things that they enjoy. It doesn't have to be long periods of time. 15, 30 seconds, 1 or 2 minutes, several times a day is what we're talking about. Another strategy is to show your children affection. This can be physical affection, it can be a hug, a wink, a pat on the back, and it also includes telling your kids you love them. Kids need to know that parents love them, and we need to demonstrate this to our children. Interesting things to do for your kids can be really helpful as well in a positive learning environment. Providing engaging activities gives kids something positive to do, and therefore they won't be getting into stuff you don't want them to be doing. So think about what your child's interested in, what they might like to play with, and make sure that you're setting their environment up for success so they have things to do that you approve of. For the positive learning environment, one strategy that can be really helpful for parents is using descriptive praise. So this goes beyond the good job, well done, way to go, and it tells the child exactly what it is that they've done well that you want to see again. Look at that, you hung your jacket up today. Wonderful job, thanks so much. Would be an example of descriptive praise. Look at that, all the books are back on the bookshelf. The floor's all tidy. Way to go. Descriptive praise tells kids exactly what it is that you'd like them to do. It can be a really powerful motivator for children. Using assertive discipline is a positive parenting strategy. It can include continuing to set predictable routines for your kids so they know what to expect, and that you respond immediately, consistently, and decisively when things aren't going well. It can be really hard to do as a parent, and the key piece to that would be to stay calm. Ways to support discipline are having a few ground rules in your family. They need to be just a few, positively stated. That means they tell the kids what to do. Shoes off at the door, coats on the hook, lunch bag on the counter, dishes in the dishwasher. Tells kids what to do so that we're setting them up for success. If kids don't follow these ground rules, you can use another strategy called directed discussion. It's where you remind the kids of the rules. What's the rule about dishes? Right, they go in the dishwasher. Can you put them in the dishwasher now, please? Would be an example of directed discussion. So, for discipline, another effective strategy is using some consequences. So if you've asked children to do something, they're not listening, and it's because they're distracted by something, a really good idea is to remove the distraction. So you take away the problem activity for a brief period of time, no more than 5 minutes, and insist that the child do what you've originally asked. When the 5 minutes is up, you can return the activity to the child so they have an opportunity to get it right. An example of consequences could be, child is out riding their bike, you notice they don't have the helmet on. I notice you don't have your helmet, we're going to put your bike away for 5 minutes. At the end of the 5 minutes, you provide the child with the bike and the helmet and an opportunity to put them together and go for another bike ride. If the child wants to, great, praise that they're wearing the helmet. If the child chooses not to because they've moved on to another activity, it's okay, let it go this time. The other piece to positive parenting is having realistic expectations. It's really important that parents understand ages and stages of kids and what kids are able to do at different stages, so that we're not asking children to do too much for their age, But on the other side, we want to make sure that we're not asking too little of children, because we want to support kids to independence. Parents also need to be really careful and make sure that they're not expecting too much of themselves. Lots of parents are working these days. Both parents are often out of the home if it's a two-parent family, and there's lots to do in a family. So it's really important that you look after your own needs so that when you're with your children, you're enjoying that time together.